Hey guys, in today's video we gonna be doing a comparison between two very popular food items, eggs and beef. And in particular, we're going to be comparing their protein quality, nutrient profiles, and also their effects on your blood sugar levels. And spoiler alert, there are some surprising differences between these two foods, which you wouldn't necessarily expect. So stay tuned to find out what they are. But first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm a biochemist with a passion for making science easy and fun. And if that sounds like something you're into, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. And I upload a new video every single week. So let's get right into it. So both eggs and beef are fantastic sources of protein, but when it comes to the quality of that protein, they're actually quite different in order to determine the quality of a protein source. There are certain criteria that we need to look at, and one of them is the amino acid profile of that protein source. You see, proteins are made up of building blocks called amino acids, and we call them essential amino acids because our body needs them to function correctly. The problem is that our body cannot make these amino acids on its own, and therefore we have to obtain them from our diet. Animal-based proteins, such as those found in eggs and beef, are considered to be complete proteins, because they contain all 9 of these essential amino acids in sufficient quantities, whereas plant-based proteins often lack 1 or more of these amino acids. For example, beans and lentils are usually low in methionine, and grains are usually low in lysine. However, not all animal-based proteins are created equal. For example, lean cuts of beef such as sirloin steak contain more than twice the amount of protein per kilogram than chicken breast. This means that you would need to eat only 472 grams of lean beef to meet your daily protein requirements compared to 986 grams of chicken breast. This is why beef is ranked higher than chicken on the Protein Quality Index, which takes into account not just the amount of protein in each food, but also how easily that protein can be digested and absorbed by the body. Another thing to consider is the bioavailability of the iron in each food. The iron in meat is much more bioavailable than the iron in plant-based foods such as spinach or lentils. This is important because iron plays a crucial role in transporting oxygen throughout the body, and a deficiency in iron can lead to fatigue and weakness. So if you're looking to maximize your protein intake while minimizing the amount of food you eat, beef is a great option. Just be sure to choose lean cuts of meat to avoid excess fat intake. However, the high protein and low carbohydrate content of eggs is actually what makes them so effective at lowering your blood sugar levels. In fact, studies have shown that eating an egg-based breakfast can help improve blood sugar control in people with type 2 diabetes. This is likely due to the fact that eggs are a great source of choline, a nutrient that has been shown to play a role in improving insulin sensitivity, but the opposite can also be true. That is to say that eating high amounts of beef can actually raise your blood sugar levels and make diabetes worse. This is likely due to the high fat content of beef, which can lead to insulin resistance over time. In fact, a recent study found that consuming red meat, which includes beef more than 4 times per week, was associated with an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So if you're looking to keep your blood sugar levels under control, it's important to choose the right cuts of beef and consume them in moderation. Opt for lean cuts of meat and trim off any visible fat before cooking. Additionally, it's important to be aware of how you prepare your beef. For example, adding a creamy sauce or serving it with high carbohydrate foods such as potatoes or bread can increase its overall carbohydrate content and impact your blood sugar levels. Instead, try grilling your beef and serving it with low carbohydrate vegetables such as spinach or broccoli. There are many vitamins and minerals that are abundant in beef that can support your health in various ways. Vitamin B12, for example, is essential for the production of red blood cells, and a deficiency in this vitamin can lead to anemia. Beef is one of the best sources of B12, so including it in your diet can help ensure that you're getting enough of this important vitamin. Zinc is another mineral that's abundant in beef and is important for a variety of bodily functions, including immune function and wound healing. A deficiency in zinc can lead to a weakened immune system and delayed wound healing. So including beef in your diet can help you meet your daily requirements for this important mineral. Iron is another mineral that's abundant in beef and is important for transporting oxygen throughout the body. As previously mentioned, a deficiency in iron can lead to fatigue and weakness. Eggs are also a good source of several important vitamins and minerals. They're a great source of choline, which is important for brain health and development. Choline is also important for pregnant women and nursing mothers to ensure the healthy development of the baby's brain. Eggs are also a good source of vitamin D, which is important for bone health and immune function. They're also rich in selenium, which is an important antioxidant that helps protect against cell damage. Eggs are also a good source of other vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin K, calcium, and phosphorus. These nutrients play important roles in vision, blood clotting, energy production, and other essential bodily functions. It's also worth noting that beef and eggs are good sources of omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are essential for brain health and development, and have been shown to reduce inflammation in the body. Although they are not as high in omega-3 south as some other animal-based foods such as fatty fish, they still provide a decent amount of these healthy fats. Both beef and eggs are considered to be high cholesterol foods, but recent research has called into question the validity of using high cholesterol as a predictor of heart disease risk. In fact, a study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that eating a diet high in cholesterol did not significantly increase the risk of heart disease or stroke in most people. However, it's important to note that this study did not include people with pre-existing heart conditions or risk factors for heart disease such as high blood pressure or diabetes. In those cases, consuming high amounts of cholesterol may still pose a risk. Nevertheless, the study does suggest that for most people, the link between dietary cholesterol and heart disease is weak at best. On the other hand, both beef and eggs are considered to be high in saturated fat, which can increase your risk of developing heart disease. Saturated fat is found in both animal and plant-based foods, but it's more concentrated in animal products such as beef and butter. Consuming too much saturated fat can lead to a buildup of plaque in the arteries, which can restrict blood flow and increase the risk of heart disease. While eggs do contain saturated fat, it's mostly in the yolk, which also contains a number of nutrients that are important for overall health. If you're concerned about the amount of saturated fat in eggs, you can opt to eat just the egg whites, which are essentially pure protein and contain no fat. Another concern with beef is its high content of sodium. This can be problematic for people with high blood pressure or other cardiovascular diseases, as excessive salt intake can lead to dehydration and put a strain on the heart. It's important to read the nutrition label and choose cuts of beef that are lower in sodium. Processed meats such as deli meat and hot dogs are particularly high in sodium and should be avoided. In terms of weight loss, both beef and eggs can be helpful depending on how they're prepared and consumed. When it comes to satiety, beef is a great option since it's high in protein and fat, both of which are known to be filling nutrients. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that participants who consumed a high-protein, moderate-fat diet felt fuller for longer and were less likely to snack between meals compared to those on a high-carbohydrate diet. Eggs are also a great option for weight loss, since they are high in protein and fat and also very low in carbohydrates. In fact, a study published in the International Journal of Obesity found that eating an egg-based breakfast led to a significant reduction in calorie intake and body weight, compared to a bagel-based breakfast. However, it's important to keep in mind that the preparation method can have a big impact on the overall calorie count and weight loss potential of these foods. For example, a large cut of beef cooked in a creamy sauce with butter and served with mashed potatoes and gravy is going to be much higher in calories than a small cut of grilled steak served with steamed vegetables. Similarly, an omelet made with sausage, cheese, and sour cream will be much higher in calories than a scrambled egg with spinach and mushrooms. And finally, it's important to consider the environmental impacts of beef and eggs. Beef production has a much higher carbon footprint than egg production, due to the amount of resources, including water and feed, that are required to produce beef. Additionally, cattle are known to be major contributors to greenhouse gas emissions, particularly methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas. On the other hand, egg production has a much lower carbon footprint and is a more sustainable option. So in conclusion, both beef and eggs are nutritious, versatile, and popular food items. While beef is a good source of protein, vitamins and minerals such as B12, iron and zinc, eggs are a great source of protein, choline and vitamins such as D and selenium. Both beef and eggs are also good sources of omega-3 fatty acids. However, beef is higher in saturated fat and sodium, which can be harmful to heart health, while eggs are high in cholesterol, which has been linked to heart disease. Both beef and eggs are considered to be high in cholesterol and saturated fat, which can raise your blood sugar levels and potentially lead to heart disease. But recent studies have called into question the link between dietary cholesterol and heart disease. When it comes to weight loss, beef and eggs can be helpful, but the preparation method can have a big impact on the overall calorie count and weight loss potential. Finally, beef production has a much higher carbon footprint than egg production, making eggs a more sustainable option. Ultimately, the choice between beef and eggs comes down to personal preference and dietary needs. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, won't forget to hit that like button, and also leave me a comment down below to let me know what you thought. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I upload new videos every single week. Until next time guys, take care and remember to stay curious.